Sorry, I just got the wrong thing going on here. There we go. Okay, so welcome to the live session, all of you. Really nice to see you again. Really good, a good chat.
Mm.
So let's dive into our quote for today to kick things off as we normally do. So let me just share my screen with you. And where's the share screen? Share screen. Share, there we go. All right. So Archie, if you can kick that off for us kindly.
Mhm.
Actually, that's probably the shortest quote you'll read in the whole year. It's really short, but it's
Yes.
very powerful. Don't be fooled
Yeah.
by the shortness, the brevity of it into believing that it's not incredibly powerful.
Yeah. So no self, no problem.
So this was by an unknown Zen master, which really reveals both the root cause of all problems and the solution to all these problems in just four simple words, which is a classic Zen thing to do, right? Simplicity, economy, fewer words, and just in four words, he's really given us the solution to every problem.
Mm.
But it's going to take a little bit of exploration. It's like a koan, the Zen koan. It's like, okay, no self, no problem. But to really understand that is the purpose of the koan.
Mm.
So when you first say it, you might go, okay, I kind of get what whoever wrote it is talking about, but do you get it at its deepest level? No, probably not.
Mm.
Actually, it'll probably take you years to
Mm.
understand that quote at its deepest level. To understand four words at their deepest level could take you a lifetime of spiritual practice. And that's what a koan is, right? Like, as you work with it, you go deeper and deeper and you go into layers of yourself that were unexplored.
Mm.
So I put that with Life Bulb logo. It's layers and layers. It's going
Mm.
within, going into the inner core and finding out who you are and who you're not. If you have no separate self, then there really is no problem. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Now, people might go, but hang on, all the problems of the world will still remain. So how can you say there's no problem? There's no problem in your perception
Mhm.
of the problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so all we really have is a perceptual problem. Every problem is a perceptual problem, as David Hoffmeister teaches us and the Course teaches. Every problem is just a perceptual problem. You're perceiving incorrectly.
Mm.
There aren't really any problems. It's only your separate self that perceives incorrectly that thinks that there's a problem.
Mm.
So then you've got a clear way out of that. Just correct your perception, right? It's a perceptual problem. Change your perception, and there's no problem. And that's what this quote is hinting at. No self.
Mm.
See, the problem with the self, a separate self concept, is that separate self concept perceives. And that separate self concept has judgments and opinions and
Mm.
perceptions. And then it goes, oh, this is the problem. Oh, problem. And now I need to seek a solution externally to myself because I can't solve this problem. Something else or someone else has got to solve this problem, which then creates more of a problem, creates a world full of unsolvable problems. Insoluble problems
Mm.
is the world of the ego.
Mm.
What I love about this quote is it just cuts to the very core of the problem and says, there it is, right? There's only one problem, and that is your identification with a separate self. That's what this quote is saying.
Mm.
So when there's no separate self, then there's no problem.
Mm.
The entire physical universe, governed by the laws of time and space, stems from our identification with a false self concept.
Mm.
Therefore, all problems that seem to arise within its so called reality must also stem from this false self-concept. You get that?
Mm.
So the entire universe, let's go to our favorite diagram. Maybe not your favorite diagram, I don't know, but it's my favorite diagram in the whole course manual, which is the descent into hell. No, I didn't mean to go there. Let's go there. There we go. So here we see the descent into hell of how we get into identifying with this separate self. And it starts with one master idea of separation. We think we can be separate from what we are. That's the fall from grace. We think that we are no longer God or oneness or pure formless or oneness or perfect love, that we have become something else, that something else being a separate consciousness, ego, self-identity, belief in separation, ego, consciousness, universal minds, many names for it, which then leads us down if we believe that idea, then it leads us to the obvious next step is to invent an individual self. Okay, so if the rule is separation, then I'm going to separate even further, and I'm going to split myself off from this master idea and separation. I'm going to become an individual self, which is a separate identity named.
Mm.
And that's where sin comes from. I've now named it, I've given it a reality, and in order to give it a reality, I think I have destroyed pure formless awareness of perfect love. Because I cannot be in both at the same time. Pure formless awareness of perfect love and this separate identity contradict each other. And now I have the first big problem of the ego is guilt.
Mm.
Oh dear. So now I've done this terrible thing. I believe I've done that. I've named a separate identity and I've destroyed God or pure formless awareness of perfect love. The moment I name a separate identity, there's no more pure formless awareness of perfect love, right? It's gone because I've got a separate identity now, and I've got multiple separate identities, and this awareness, it seems to have been obliterated out of my awareness. So I think I've destroyed what I really am. Now the guilt for that is tremendous. This is all repressed in our mind, but this guilt is then becomes the source of everything else that happens. The guilt becomes the driver of the ego's whole thought system, and it's where it starts getting nasty. So the guilt demands that is projected out. We can't handle the guilt ourselves. We don't want to take responsibility for it. So we say, it's not me, someone else must be guilty. And that someone else is going to be punished for their sin by a fearful, wrathful, separate, vengeful God. So we create that God in the image of the ego. This isn't the true God of unconditional love. So nothing to do with that. It's the ego's God, which we see, in most formal religions. The fundamental version of them has this concept of a fearful, wrathful, separate, vengeful God, which is demanded by the ego. Right? Sin and guilt demand that concept of God, and now you fear that your guilt and your sin will be punished, and that you will suffer negative consequences in the future. So you're out of the now. You have a false expectation that's appearing real. Of some disaster befalling you, even though it's not true. All of this creates so much psychological dissonance, so many problems in the mind that we have to run away. We just go, I can't handle this. So I'm going to go up, literally out of my mind. It's exactly what we did. We went out of our mind and we created this alternative universe, which now seems to be out of our mind. It now seems to be a physical universe. And that's the projection of the guilt and the fear outwards. And so now we have the building blocks of the thought system of the matrix, of the whole illusion. Those building blocks, because they are false, just create more falsity. Okay? You can't get the true coming from the false. So based on that, you get accusation, blame, complaint, attack of gods, other humans, and separate forms as a projection of subconscious guilt to try and get rid of it. So we think, well, I'll offload my guilt onto someone or something else, and so I'll do that by blaming them. And so that's the purpose that blame serves. Just perpetuates the guilt, because you don't really get rid of it. You just recycle it. It just stays around. The only thing that's going to get rid of it is the Holy Spirit that says, remember that none of this is true. Okay. So that's and then at the very foundation of this thought system, we end up being a victim, living a helpless, innovative little life, which is hell of limitation, lack, loneliness, suffering, inevitably death. We wonder why life is so unfair and so cruel, so short, why we seem to suffer and die, and this seems to be the fate of every human being. Well, it's because we set it up that way. Because we decided the moment we believed in separation that this is the reality we wanted. Okay, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back. So in that context, you see where the mistaken self-concept comes from. It's a derivative of the idea of separation, and it's a mistaken idea that you are really an individual self with your own unique identity, personality, life situation. And yes, all the problems that are seemingly an integral part of what you call, quote, your life. Okay, so this is all just a mistake. So this is true, the perennial philosophy, which is the foundation of every authentic spiritual path, teaches us that it is, then the answer to all your problems becomes obvious. Just let go of your false self-concept and allow it to be replaced by pure formless awareness of perfect love. Okay, no self, no problem. It's only that separate self that creates all the problems. So you might say, well, this is easier said than done. How do I actually do this? Well, you actually have a very clear and effective way to do this in very practical so-called baby steps while you live out your seemingly human life in the dream world through the carefully designed mind training program that Yeshua has given us in A Course in Miracles. So he's given us a way, saying, I don't expect you to just get this overnight, but you can practice this, you can study it, and you can learn this. It might take you years to learn it, because it's taken you years to learn its opposite. So naturally, it's probably going to take you years to unlearn what you've learned. But, best you make a start then. Now. Never any other time to start, but now. And interestingly, the Buddha never said that there was a self or a creator or God. He didn't use that terminology. He preferred instead to instruct his followers in meditation and other mind training practices. It would help them transcend all sense of being a separate self and reveal the true nature of pure formless awareness or reality, which he called nirvana. Yeshua calls heaven in Course in Miracles. We call the state of pure formless awareness an alternative art of letting go language. And this is about experiential understanding. By doing these practices, you start to understand these ideas, these terms, principally in your own experience. So Course in Miracles is designed to bring about the same experience for its students using a different methodology. Okay, so same experience as the Buddha talked about. Different methodologies, forgiveness or letting go of your false self-concept by systematically letting go of all negative, or as I prefer to say, negative thoughts and emotions that negate this pure formless awareness to reveal the Christ or true self that comes from this awareness, right? Which is also able to perceive this world from the perspective of this awareness. So because it's perfectly one, this true self will ultimately bring your mind into the state of pure formless awareness that the Buddha called nirvana. Yeshua calls the kingdom of heaven in A Course in Miracles. So accepting the Christ or the one self as your true identity, awakens you from your false self-concept based on the belief in separation, which is the ego, and into pure formless awareness of perfect love, which is the phrase we use to replace the word God in a translated versions of the lessons and the text. Which leads us quite nicely into our session today, and today's lesson, which is lesson 95. And there's a few slides to read related to it, so we can read the lesson and then move into reading the slides, and then we'll have a look at the actual text of the lesson once we've done that. Okay, so Archie, if you can, actually someone else read, you read the quote in you. So Lane or Kim, if you can read, one of you can read the original version of the lesson, the other the alternative. Thanks.
Yeah,
I'll start.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, no, go on, Kim.
Okay. I am oneself united with my creator.
I am one self united with my source.
I am
Yeah.
oneself. Oh,
Yeah, you read the next slide, Kim.
I am oneself united with my creator. I am oneself united with my creator, at one with every aspect of creation. Oneself, an aspect, Jesus, me, you. Limitless in power and in peace. You are oneself with me, united with our creator in this self. Oneself, an aspect, a sun, an aspect, a sun. Jesus, you, me. Me, God's Son, Father.
Mm.
You, my brother.
So it's quite a nice image, isn't it? So it's a diamond, and you've got these different facets of the diamond. So there's only one diamond, there's only one self, but you see it in these different facets. And each facet, when you see it correctly, is beautiful. It's part of the whole. It's not the complete whole, but it's part of the whole. And once you realize there's only one self, one life, one mind, one Christ, if you want to use the term Christ. Okay, so let's dive into our lesson for today. Let's just go here. Start with lesson 95. There we go. All right, so one self unites with my creator. We've done that. Done that one. So let's read original and alternative, sentence by sentence. Who wants to read the original? Number one.
I'm happy to.
Okay, you can read that. That'll be good.
Yeah. So,
And then Kim or Elaine read the alternative.
Okay.
so today's idea accurately describes you as God created you.
Today's idea accurately describes me as pure formless awareness of perfect love extends me.
So,
You are one within yourself and one with him.
I am one within myself and one with it.
Yours is the unity of all creation.
The unity of all being is mine.
Your perfect unity makes change in you impossible.
My perfect unity makes change in me impossible.
You do not accept this, and you fail to realize it must be so, only because you believe that you have changed yourself already.
I do not accept this and fail to realize it must be so, only because I believe that I have changed myself already. And from the top, today's idea accurately describes me as pure formless awareness of perfect love extends me. I am one within myself and one with it. The unity of all being is mine. My perfect unity makes change in me impossible. I do not accept this and fail to realize it must be so, only because I believe that I have changed myself already. So it's describing how our true selves, as we've been created by pure formless awareness of perfect love, or by God, and we are one, we are an extension of God, and there's a unity of us with that's the truth. But and that hasn't and will not change. It will forever be like that, but we don't, our little selves don't accept that. We believe we actually are changed. We're saying that's not true. That's a belief, but it's not actually a true belief.
And that's the problem. We think it's true. We think our beliefs are true, and everything that comes from them is true. But if it's just a false belief with no reality, then there's no problem. You know, going back to the quote, no self, no problem. So it's highlighting what we must believe in order to believe in the ego, that we've changed ourselves, and that's permanent. We can't go back. We've now messed it all up. We've destroyed God. God is nowhere, although he still seems to be there and punishing us from above. And this is permanent. We've messed it up. We've screwed up, and there's no salvation from that.
We believe there's no salvation, but it's not true.
Yeah. So it's all just a case of mistaken belief, which then becomes quite a simple problem to solve. Okay, just believe otherwise. Correct your belief. You do that by changing your perception. As you change your perception, you must change belief. If you believe that you're a separate self and the world is out to get you, you're going to make very different choices compared with someone who believes they're one self and they're guided by Holy Spirit and God's love, and they're already one with everyone and everything. You know, those are fundamentally opposite positions. Is why you ultimately can't reconcile them. Okay, happy to go on. Nice opener. Okay, so Elaine, if you can read that original, and then maybe Archie alternative.
You see yourself as a ridiculous parody on God's creation, weak, vicious, ugly, and sinful, miserable and beset with pain.
I perceive myself as a ridiculous parody of perfect love's extension, weak, vicious, ugly, and sinful, miserable, and tormented by pain.
Such is your version of yourself, a self divided into many wearing parts, separate from God and tenuously held together by its erratic and capricious maker to which you pray.
Such is my version of myself, a self divided into many conflicting parts, separate from pure formless awareness of perfect love, and tenuously held together by its erratic and capricious maker to which I pray.
It does not hear your prayers, for it is deaf.
It does not hear my prayers, for it is deaf.
It does not see the oneness in you, for it is blind.
It does not perceive the oneness in me, for it is blind.
It does not understand you are the Son of God, for it is senseless and understands nothing.
It does not understand I am the extension of perfect love, for it is senseless and understands nothing.
And from the top.
Yeah. I perceive myself as a ridiculous parody of perfect love's extension, weak, vicious, ugly, and sinful, miserable, and tormented by pain. Such is my version of myself, a self divided into many conflicting parts, separate from pure formless awareness of perfect love, and tenuously held together by its erratic and capricious maker, to which I pray. It does not hear my prayers, for it is deaf. It does not perceive the oneness in me, for it is blind. It does not understand I am the extension of perfect love, for it is senseless and understands nothing.
Okay, thoughts on that?
It's actually, reading it is actually quite upsetting. It's kind of, you know, just the language again. You know, come back to sort of sometimes the language just really hits you. You know, you know, the weak, vicious, ugly, sinful, miserable, tormented by pain. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
He does lay it on thick, but he has to.
It does. Yeah, yeah.
He
Yeah,
has
when
to.
you,
He has to convince us that the ego is really, really not a good idea.
yes, yeah, and he certainly does. Yeah,
So this emotive language is one of the
very emotive.
ways he does it.
Yeah, and
Vicious,
also,
ugly, sinful,
yeah,
miserable, tormented by pain. Yeah, it's all accurate. You know that the ego has
yeah.
all of those delightful character traits.
And then erratic and capricious. I then also believe, you know, sort of, yeah, I do like that bit, you know, separate from pure formless awareness of perfect love and tenuously held together by its erratic and capricious maker to which I pray.
Oh.
So that's going back to your, you know, what you're saying about this kind of vengeful, wrathful God, you know, that it's fickle and, you know, yeah.
And the maker is my separate self. So
Yeah,
the whole world is really has been made up to serve the separate self.
yeah, yeah.
And you know,
This, yeah.
we have to realize that. We have to see exactly what's going on in all of its ugliness.
Mm,
And that can be quite upsetting, but that is part of awakening.
mm,
Because if you cover it over and you don't want to see the vicious, ugly, sinful, miserable, tormented self that you've
mm,
invented, and you think that somehow it's all okay, that
mm,
that separate self is somehow redeemable. You know, oh, if I just when I get that, you know, when just over there in the future, when I get there, then I'm going to be okay.
mm.
It's a
Yeah,
lie. It's a complete lie. You know, you're not going to be okay.
yeah. And it doesn't listen
When
to me, and it doesn't, you know, and it doesn't see the oneness that I am.
hmm.
Uh, yeah, and it doesn't
Yeah,
understand.
it's like a an insane person running your life.
Yeah,
This is what you allowing into your mind and your life. You know, someone is totally insane, and you saying, "Oh, there we go, take charge."
mm, yeah,
Yeah, I trust you. I'm not going to question. I mean, it's not smart. This is not going to go well.
Mm.
And we wonder why we experience so much pain.
Mm.
Well, the pain is there to show us just how erratic and capricious and vicious our chosen master is.
Yeah.
But only when we experience that will we make another choice and say, this is not a master, a thought system, in other words, that I want to serve.
Mm.
Because it's horrendous, it's terrible.
Mm.
The only way out of this is to let it go completely, entirely, or not at all.
Mm.
But I can't keep a little bit of viciousness and ugliness and sin and misery and pain
Mm.
and also be in pure forms of awareness of perfect love.
Yeah.
They contradict each other.
Yeah.
So even a little bit of pain, even a little bit of a sinful thought, of guilt, of unhappiness, misery, in any form, however minor, is an affirmation that the ego is alive and that the spirit is not.
Mm.
Okay, and then it comes down to choice again.
Mm.
So
All right.
again, very, very well in these lessons, he's highlighting for us exactly what the ego is and what it does. And he doesn't mince his words because he has to get us to change our minds. And the only tool he's got is the words that he uses.
Mm. Yeah.
So very emotive language often. Some people are like, oh, he's just ego bashing. Someone once said to me, of course, it's just loads of ego bashing. That's all he's doing. Well, that is part of it. He has to bash the ego in order to make you aware that this is not a thought system that you want.
Mm.
But what's he supposed to do? Praise the ego, say the ego is okay, as opposed to bash it?
Mm.
Is that really going to serve you? To say, yeah, okay, have a little bit of ego. And I've heard spiritual teachers saying, yeah, you need some ego, it's fine.
Mm.
As long as you manage your ego, there's the grand delusion.
Yeah.
You're going to manage your ego. It's okay. I went to a church service once, and the pastor was like, no. He had a whole PowerPoint presentation. It was really well done, except it was bollocks. So that was the only problem with it. It's like you're going to manage your ego.
Mm.
So God sits here, and then the ego sits under God, and the ego's fine as long as you give all glory to God, and God is in charge. It's like the problem with that logic is that God and the ego don't agree on anything.
Mm.
So it's like having an employee and saying, I'll just manage my insane employee who's going to do absolutely the opposite of what I tell my employee to do every time.
Mm.
That's not a sustainable relationship. It's not a workable relationship, is it?
Mm.
Very quickly, if you employ someone, they never do what you ask them to do, you're going to fire them. You're going to go, this doesn't work.
Mm.
I employed you to do what I ask you to do, and you're not doing it. So the ego will always go up against the Holy Spirit, and it will do the opposite. So it's not something you can manage because it totally contradicts God. See, people don't understand the split. You can't have both darkness and light. You can't have both love and fear. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
And so he's highlighting that, and he's saying, well, let's look at the options then very honestly. So I can help you. He's not telling us what to choose. He's saying, here are the options,
Mm.
right? Very clearly, I'm going to give you the options, and you must make your own choice.
Mm.
Because he knows that's the only way we're ever going to really change our mind. He can't do it for us. And say, oh, you must just do that. Jesus saves me. He says I must let go of the ego. Okay, I do it because Jesus has said that. No, he doesn't want that. That's not real understanding. That's not true faith because you haven't got there on your own understanding. You've just gone, okay, well, Jesus is some uber super being. I don't really understand, but I give my life to him and he's going to sort it all out. And, in a nutshell, there you've got traditional Christianity.
Yeah.
Like, really? Is that really going to work? Like, seriously? That sounds like a con job to me. Okay, so I just roll up to church, and of course I make my contributions. I must pay my tithes; they're very important. But pay your dues to the church, so that the pastor can have his Rolls Royce and his private jet. Very important to do that. But actually, I'm not learning anything. It's blind faith. I'm just gonna believe in this. No, because the pastor said it. Jesus saves me. All I've got to do is give my life to Jesus, and then I'm saved. It's a very simple message. You understand why people want to believe it, because it's so simple. They're like, yeah, okay, I can believe that. I just hold on to that. That's my rock. There's my faith. But there's no deeper understanding. And then, if you really question that, it's very shaky. Somebody hasn't gone through a process of working it out themselves. The foundation of their faith is not strong.
Yeah.
You can shake it very easily. I've had conversations with Christians. I remember once some Jehovah's Witnesses came around to my house. It was very interesting. Okay, now let's have a chat. So I chatted to them for about 10 minutes, explaining some of the course non-dual metaphysics. They were like, okay, well, that's very nice. Thank you so much. We'll be on our way then. And they never came back. So they didn't get it. Because they're not taught that kind of understanding. When you read the teaching, it's like it's all very simplistic. It's been dumbed down. It's like uh, spirituality for dummies. No, it's just like let's really simplify it and make it so super simple that you don't really have to exert yourself. You just have to you just have to believe Jesus saves you, and then you're done. But you can understand why it's been an attractive message over centuries. Because all you got to do is believe in this one savior figure, give your life to him, join our community, and you're saved, and everything's gonna be okay.
And you're
But that's
also
not what he taught. The problem with that is it's not what he taught. He never said that.
Yeah, and you're also abdicating all responsibility, aren't you, by doing that as well?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Which of course is then by design, because the church then has control of you.
Yeah.
You've given they being the proxy for Jesus on earth, self-appointed, now have the power to interpret the scripture, to tell you what you should be doing with your life, including what you should do with your finances. Very important, because there's a business model behind it. Sorry to sound cynical, but that's how it works.
Yeah,
If you're honest about it. I mean, just look at some of these ministries. I mean, these pastors are worth a fortune. They are multi-millionaires.
Well, you only have to look at the Vatican, Jonathan, and just see the wealth that was. I mean, it's phenomenal. If you've ever gone to the Vatican Museum,
I have.
Oh my word!
Yeah, I have. I mean, just like that's not what Jesus taught at all. He was born in a manger. He didn't own anything. He didn't teach accumulation of power and wealth.
Yeah.
In fact, he taught the opposite. So something's gone wrong here, guys. They're like, it's got lost in translation. In fact, he criticized the Pharisees and the Sadducees for doing exactly what the Catholic Church does. All the pomp, all the ceremony, all the fine robes, and the holier than thou. He was just going, this is bullshit. Sorry, this isn't authentic. You Pharisees and you Sadducees and you scribes. He just said, you don't know God, and you're leading people down the garden path here. And then, in his name, they build a religion that does exactly the thing that he criticized. Okay, someone's got lost in translation here. It clearly hasn't been. The message has not translated well over the centuries. And then you just have to go into the early history of the church, and you see where it started going wrong. It's not difficult to see that. But yeah, so the message that has been peddled as authentic Christianity is spurious. It's false. It was never what he taught. It was what was created over a few hundred years post his death, and eventually formalized into a formal doctrinal religion called the Roman Catholic Church, which was used as a mechanism of power and control for a fragmenting Roman Empire, to try and maintain control of this empire. Very intentionally. Constantine had to choose between two systems of thought. You had to choose between paganism and Christianity as the sort of guiding principle of his somewhat threatened empire, decaying empire. And he chose Christianity.
Yeah.
Why? Because it was easier under Christianity with one God to get absolute control. Now, we are the appointed agents of this one all-powerful God. There are no other gods. That's not allowed. And so therefore, all other gods, all other belief systems must be done away with. And then you have the mechanism of oppressive control, which is exactly what happened for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And all of that mystical understanding of Jesus's teachings, the Gnostics understood it, went underground. Because if you openly expressed that, you were killed.
Yeah.
So like, well, if you value your life, you're then gonna do it in secret, aren't you? And you're gonna pretend you believe in what the church is teaching, but now it's all gone underground and all secret. So the extent of the suppression of the truth, I don't think we have any idea in today's world what went on. It was brutal, systematic oppression of truth by the ego to deny what had come through this man so purely and truly. And then the ego kicked back hugely and went, okay, we're going to put the world into 1,000 years of darkness. The Dark Ages, as it was called. From about 325 AD, that's when it kicked off till the Renaissance, 1,200 years later. 1,200 years of stagnation under this oppressive thought system that then stopped people from free thinking, from inquiry. Just no, you got to believe in this one doctrine, or guess what? You're dead. How's that for a believe or you're heretic, and we burn you at the stake, or we kill you in some other terrible way, and we'll just do away with your whole family as well, just to make sure.
Yeah.
You can't make. I mean, it's just so when he talks about, the reason I'm going into this, when he talks about the weak, vicious, sinful, miserable, beset with pain ego, there it is. You don't have to look at human history. It's a car crash. It's a train smash. Terrible.
Yeah.
What went on, and we forget, because now that we don't like to talk about the atrocities and what's gone on in human history, because it's pretty dark. It still goes on, but nowadays it's not as you can't just do it and get away with it, and that's acceptable. Then it was. You could literally go and commit. You could literally go and commit genocide in the name of God. They went and they killed about 1 million Cathars in the 11th and 12th centuries, who were, again, they knew how, blue zones. They had a blue zone life. They lived consciously, functionally, effectively. It was way, way better than what the Catholic Church had produced. And obviously they felt threatened. So they went, just wipe them all out. Just go kill them. Rape, pillage, plunder, burn. Anyway, we won't dwell on it. But the point is, this is not a nice thought system. You want to do away with this, right? This is behind all the misery, all the pain, all the suffering that humanity has ever experienced. This one thought system. So if you want to be done with all of that, then you have to get rid of it. You have to let it go. And he's saying there's no other way, right? You can't fudge this. You're going to let it go entirely, or you don't let it go at all. Because one little bit of separation means that you believe in it, means that the ego is still present in your life. And will still have these pernicious, vicious, ugly effects, and you will suffer. And eventually you'll die. And that's the crucifixion. That's what the ego does over and over and over again. It's saying, no, let's change the game, let's change the story, let's talk about the resurrection instead, which is the resurrection of your mind into the understanding of who you really are, beyond all of these dark illusions. Okay. So happy to go to number 3. We will attempt today. You would like to read that, and then the alternative.
I'll read the original. We will attempt today to be aware only of what can hear and see and what makes perfect sense. We will again direct our exercises towards reaching. Oh,
Just one
Yeah.
at a time.
I will attempt today to be aware only of what can hear. That's not what that says, can hear. Perceive truly and makes perfect sense.
we will again direct our exercises towards reaching your one self, which is united with its creator.
I will again direct my efforts in today's exercises towards reaching my one self, which is united with its source.
In patience and in hope, we try again today.
In patience and hope, I try again today. And I will attempt today to be aware only of what can hear, perceive truly, and makes perfect sense. I will again direct my efforts in today's exercises towards reaching my one self, which is united with its source. In patience and hope, I try again today. So it's just asking us today we become aware of this truth, which does make perfect sense. We direct our efforts into the exercises so that we can reach this one self. So we're all united with the source. So with a bit of patience and hope, we try again.
Yeah, and so it's quite encouraging. I think this is just saying, well, okay, just keep trying. You know, he's not saying get it perfect, get
Yeah.
it all right. You know, you're never going to have doubts and lapses, but you know, again, you try again every day. You get up, you try again,
Mm.
and if you keep doing that willingly, you're going to make progress. You're doing the course to the best of your ability. You are awakening slowly, gradually to your source. And maybe sometimes you have a breakthrough, but mostly, as you say, plodding on, just like, okay, let me try again. Let me just do my practice, do my lesson, just change my mind again, just perceive the difficult situation that I'm facing correctly, just let it go. And so it's very kind of unglamorous. There's nothing sexy or exciting really about it. It's just, you just got to keep doing it. Just plug away, just keep doing it, keep doing it. And sometimes it can feel really difficult, can be really hard. You just go, oh, I'm ever going to get this. Why can't I just be done? Why can't I just do forgiveness once and then it's done? Because it's over and over and over again, because we've put ourselves in such a predicament with all these illusions that they now need to be forgiven or let go of over and over and over again. Because the illusion is so deep. We put ourselves in such a really terrible predicament. This idea of separation has put us in a terrible predicament. And now we've got to somehow extract ourselves from that predicament. And saying, well, this is how you're going to do it, with this consistent, persistent mind training, just as you would master any other skill. If you wanted to be a great sportsman, athlete, concert pianist, artist, whatever, it's going to take hours and hours and hours of practicing over and over and over again, trying again. Okay, you didn't get it right, but try again. You can get it right, try again. So we accept that mindset works in some things. Yeah, well, obviously, the first time you kick a football and it misses the goal, you don't give up. You try again, right? So it would be logical. You wouldn't say to a kid, okay, that's it. Your career's over. You missed. Sorry. It's like, no, just give it another go. Try again. Get it better. And, you'll improve. So we need to have the same attitude to our spiritual practice. No, we won't always get it right, but just keep trying. Just do your best. And over time, if you keep doing that, and you keep being willing, then over time, you'll see that it starts to shift and change, and actually you are making progress, although it's slow. And you think, there's no bells and whistles, and there's no like fireworks, as you say, then. But there's this slow, steady progress. But you are making that progress, which is really important. Okay, so let's go on to number 4. So this doesn't really need any translation. It's just actually what he does now is he goes into just some coaching, and he's teaching us how to how to actually practice his course.
Mm.
And he does that every now and then in the lessons. Notice. So it's not theory here. He's saying, okay, this is how you're actually going to apply this in your life, and this is why it's going to be useful to do it this way. And he's telling us this because if we understand why he's asking us to practice every 5 minutes, we're more likely to do it.
Mm.
If we don't understand, no, I don't need to do that. First 5 minutes of every waking hour. Well, did anyone do that today? Probably not. I'm guessing none of you did it.
No.
You forgot. Other things came in. Maybe you practiced the lesson once in the morning. Maybe you remembered it once or twice during the day. So there's still a lot of room for improvement, right? And I include myself in it.
Mm.
You know, we can all be more diligent. You know, if you really did do 5 minutes of every waking hour, and you were able to continue that every day for a year, I mean, my goodness, the spiritual progress you make would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, the ego doesn't want you to do that, so it gets you wound up and doing all kinds of other stuff. But that is important, but it's not as important as waking up. That's because that's what you're really here to do.
Mm.
So the more you can just remember these ideas, it doesn't have to be long. Just be, you know, say it says 5 minutes. Even if you just think of it for 30 seconds, you know, that's something. That's just like a little, okay, it's a point of reference. You can go into it. You can remind yourself of the idea. You can use it to help you let go of something, connect with a deeper state. And the idea just connects you with who you really are in that moment. So you're seeing the logic of it. If you're doing that 5 minutes of every waking hour, you're spending quite a lot of the day then connected to your true self. The more connected you are to it, the more you're going to realize that this is who you are. And you're starting to make it more dominant in your thinking. The ego is still going to have its say, but you know, you got to start thinking differently and going into this experience, this alternative experience, and actually experiencing it for a significant part of your day. And that's why he's saying 5 minutes every waking hour. So if you awake, let's say 15 hours times 5 minutes, you do the maths. You know, that's well over an hour of spiritual practice that you've got in the day, apart from your longer meditations. So maybe you do a longer meditation morning and evening. So then, you know, if you did that, and every 5 minutes of every waking hour in between, you'd be getting about 2 hours of spiritual practice. Well, that's quite a lot. Yeah, that's going to start to add up if you do that every day.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone we don't need to read this twice. Just someone read the paragraph in its alternative. Yeah. Okay. Question.
Yeah, if you can scroll up to the second paragraph, the alternative one, if you look at the second line, the number 2, such is my version of myself. Is that self? Should it be a capital letter? Such as a version of myself, if it's self-divided.
No. Yeah, it's small because it's a little self. My version of myself.
Yeah, but if I look at number 2, such is the version of myself, that's got a capital. Would it not be small?
So look. Yeah, interesting one. I think I made that a capital because it's my version of my capital self. Yeah, my version of my true self or my real self is a self divided into many conflicting parts, separate from pure formless awareness of perfect love and tenuously held together by its erratic and capricious maker to which I pray. You could put it as a small one, you know, version of my little self. But I made it big, I think, because it's a corruption. It's a false version of your true self, the imposter. But well spotted, you know, that you see how the capitalization matters. Such as my version of my capital self. Yeah, my version, my corrupted version of my capital self, which is pure, whole, and complete, is a self divided into many conflicting parts, separate from pure formless awareness of perfect love, and tenuously held together by its erratic and capricious maker to which I pray. powerful words, just
Yeah.
fragmented, tenuous, and that's why you never feel really safe and secure in the ego. If you notice that,
Mm.
you can never go, yeah, that just feels good. It feels solid. I can trust that, because it's so erratic and it's so capricious.
Mm.
You can't trust it. It's like, yeah. One moment you think it's there, you think something's, and what rug gets pulled from under you, it's changed.
Mm.
It's different from what you thought it was.
Mm.
Or you thought you could rely on that. No, you can't rely on it. It's because it's changed.
Yeah.
That's why it's erratic and capricious. And so instead of trying to make that work, he's just saying, just look at what it is, see it for what it is, and then you can just let the whole thing go.
Mm.
Yeah, it confuses me that we're still keeping it a capital, because it's kind of saying that our big self is made up with
Yeah.
these many conflicting parts. But
Yeah,
is that
my
true?
version, read it in context, Kim. My version of myself, right?
Oh,
So
but
my
still.
distorted version, here we go. We'll just put in there, then it's clear. My distorted version of myself, very clear. A
Okay.
self-divided, small self. See, that's small,
Yeah.
because now we're not referring to capital. So the reason a capital small is because it creates a contrast, and you can learn from that contrast. Capital self, whole, complete, perfect, no problem. No self, no little self, no problem. Yeah. A self divided into many conflicting parts is the problem. And then that internal problem, that conflicted mind, then manifests in all the external problems of the world. And so that's the source of all of our problems, the self-divide into many conflicting parts, which is false. So this really gets to the root of the problem. It's called radical forgiveness, because it gets to the very root, which is a separate self. That's your only real problem. And the solution to that is to collapse the separate self, let go of the separate self, realize there is no separate self. Okay, does that make sense? Good. Yeah, thanks for the question. Good one, and well spotted in the capitals and small. I'm actually working with a damaged screen, so that part of my screen is black. So unless I need to fix that, you can see it, but I can't. Anyway, so where were we? We were at number 4. Yeah, use of the first 5 minutes. So one of you read that. It's just really a practical instruction on how to use the lessons and why we're doing the lessons in this way.
Yeah, I'm happy to read that. So
Yeah, go for it.
the use of the first 5 minutes of every waking hour for practice. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the use of the first 5 minutes of every waking hour for practicing the idea for the day has special advantages at the stage of learning in which I am at present. It is difficult at this point not to allow my mind to wander if it undertakes extended practice. I have surely realized this by now. I have experienced the extent of my lack of mental discipline and consequent need for mind training. It is necessary that I be aware of this, for it is indeed a hindrance to my spiritual progress.
Yeah. So, what's he saying there in a nutshell? Look, just identify that you're not very good at the moment. you need some work, right? You need to improve. So that's why you need to practice. Just like any skill, okay, I'm not very good at the moment. Doesn't mean give up. It means you need more practice to get better at it. Logically, this isn't rocket science. Very, very simple. We would accept this logic with anything else. Yeah, you want to learn a new skill. You want to learn to cook or art. I mean, you've just been on a cooking and sort of art course. Yeah, it's going to take some time, isn't it? You're not going to be an expert straight away. That would be ridiculous. It's going to take a lot of practice. We understand that with the skills of this world. So why do we think it's any different for spiritual progress, for awakening? In fact, even more so, because it's harder to learn. Because the skill of the world, you're like, okay, my ego might have some resistance, but actually once the ego gets into it, it often goes, oh, this is nice. This is a new identity, right? I can now become the great artist or the great cook or the, and get a whole lot of kudos for it. So it can really, get you into a function like that and start identifying with it. But actually, you just want to let all of that identification go. That's really what this course is teaching us. Don't identify with a separate self. So you can do anything. You can go on a cooking course and do art, etc. Just don't get attached to the identity.
Yeah.
It's just an experience. You're going there, you have an experience. Even if you took it seriously, okay, so I really enjoy cooking. I love cooking. It's a great experience. Great. I'll just cook. I love cooking. I love the process. I love cooking food for other people. It's my way of serving them, etc., etc. And there are people who love to do that. No problem, as long as you don't identify with that role.
Yeah.
And as soon as you identify with it, then there's a problem. You see, oh, I'm the great chef now. Oh, I cook better than anyone else. Everyone knows my cooking is great, except, if I get criticized for it, then I'm going to have a problem because I've identified with it. If you didn't identify, be like, well, I just enjoy making food. It's not a big deal. I love the process, and I don't identify with myself as that person. It's just how the Holy Spirit works through me and extends love through me through this mechanism of cooking. That's the enlightened way of doing it. Then no problem. Cook as much as you want because there's no attachment, there's no identification. But that's quite difficult to do, isn't it? So the more you get into something, the more likely it is that you're going to get attached to it.
Yeah.
And you start identifying with it. And now it becomes, and you see this, so everyone starts with the love of cooking. Let's say every great chef. Yeah, they got in the kitchen, they were a kid, they cooked with their parent or someone taught them, and it was just fun. And they loved it. But then what happens? They start getting more serious about it. And it's like, oh, I could be a great chef. I could make a career of this. I could make money. I could make a name for myself. I could write books. I could have a series of my own, etc. And now the ego gets identified. And now I'm the great Gordon Ramsay or Jamie Oliver or, whatever the name is. And I've got this whole identity, this whole persona that I've created around cooking. And then there's a problem. So just don't fall for that trap. You can do anything provided you don't get attached to it.
Yeah.
And the way to make sure you don't get attached to it is keep practicing. Just be diligent in your mind training. Keep practicing. Keep, with the beginner's mind. In Zen, they call it have a beginner's mind. Just stay open, stay hungry. Steve Jobs said something similar. He said, stay hungry, stay open, stay curious, something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along those lines. Beginner's mind. He studied Zen, so it makes sense. He understood the principles. Because then you just keep practicing, you stay humble, you're an eternal student. You're like, I'm always practicing, I'm always studying. I never go, yeah, I'm so great, I don't need to practice. Even Jesus needed to practice. He went and he prayed and meditated and stuff in the mountains. Even he, greatest master ever lived, would take time and he would do his practice. So keeps you honest, keeps you humble, and avoids. Elaine, you talked about some of these spiritual gurus who've fallen from grace. Probably what happened is they get identified with a persona. It now becomes, oh, I'm the great Deepak, or I'm the great whoever. And then your practice lapses. You lose the humility, and then the ego's got a hold in your mind, and then the dysfunction comes with that.
Yeah.
Whatever dysfunctional behavior comes from the identification with the ego, and the disidentification from your true self. So why practicing staying humble is really important. Just stay humble. Keep practicing, because then you remain true and in alignment. I'll tell you a story about, because it's the World Cup. Probably the greatest footballer, well, certainly one of the greatest footballers of all time, is a guy called Lionel Messi. Probably heard of him. He's still playing at 38. He scored a hat trick the other day for Argentina. Just genius. But he still does the basics. When he joined his new club in Miami, he arrived there at 6:45 in the morning. training only started at 10. So this is like the greatest player of all time. You could go, yeah, I could just rock up 15 minutes before and it'll be fine. No one would have an issue, right?
Mm.
But he's there almost 3.5 hours before. So no one else is there. It's just one person's opened the club because he's preparing. He's checking it out. He's getting the vibe. He's going to the gym. He's warming up. He's doing his practice still, even though he's the greatest footballer. And that's why he is the greatest footballer, because he's got his practice and he's disciplined in that. And that's why he's maintained it. Okay, so next one, again, we can just read the alternative. So someone read that. Frequent but shorter practice periods have other advantages.
Okay, I'll read. Frequent but shorter practice periods have other advantages for me at this time. In addition to recognizing my difficulties with sustained attention, I've also noticed that unless I am reminded of my purpose frequently, I tend to forget about it for long periods of time. I often fail to remember the short applications of the idea for the day. And I have not yet formed the habit of using the idea as an automatic response to temptation.
Yeah.
Because it's a recognition, like, again, it's recognizing that we are not remembering. Often we're not, probably most of the time we're not remembering during the day to do the applications, not only when it's like per hour, but when things that arise that we can use the idea for.
Yeah, and so he's asking us just to be honest with ourselves and say, okay, so you're not really doing this course properly. Let's be honest about it. Just call it for what it is. I've been asking you to do it daily and like hourly, and you're not doing it, like, because most people don't. So okay, but let's just be honest about it. Let's not try and pretend, because in that lies some freedom, and he's going to explore that. He's going to tell us why we're doing this. So what I really like with the course is it's just candid honesty. It's like just being very open and honest, primarily with yourself. I know, like illusion of I'm such a great course student. I do it every hour. Yeah, bullshit. You don't. Who does that? Come on. Like probably not even Ken Wapnick and people like that did it. Yeah, like no one has done the course. There's not a single human being who's ever done the course perfectly, as Jesus says. Because it's just not possible.
Yeah.
You're just going to lapse. You're going to get distracted. But he's saying, look, it's okay. I'm giving you the ideal. He's setting the bar high, right? Because if he sets it low, well, don't worry about it. Just do a lesson in the morning. If you get around to it in the evening, that's cool as well. Don't really worry about it in between. That's not a very high bar. It's not like stretching us, is it? And good coaches they stretch us. They're like, okay, I'm going to set the bar high. I know you're not always going to do that, but it's a target. You're going to stretch to that. And that's what he's doing. So he's giving us a high bar and he's saying, okay, but if you come in a few levels below that, it's still a lot better than doing nothing, right? You're still way ahead of the game compared with doing nothing. So that's how I do it. I like, okay, I practice the course at least twice a day, sometimes in between. I remember the lesson. It's like, yeah, okay, it's okay. I'm doing it. I'm remembering. And in moments of temptation, I will remember. I'll go, okay, I'll use the lesson, or I'll use a lesson. It doesn't have to be that day's lesson, but I'll remember, the truth. And so then you're practicing it. You're doing it. You're just not doing it, to the extent that you could do it. So there is room for improvement. Let's not delude ourselves. We can all improve. And if you improve, the benefit for you is you're likely to make more progress. You're likely to get it more quickly. You're likely to be more happier, more peaceful, more joyful. So it's worth it. The discipline is worth it because your experience of life is going to be expanded because of that. But, it takes a bit of reinforcement for that message to get through. Initially, we feel like it's too much structure, too much discipline. It's a hardship. No, he's doing it because he's training us in how to be happy And he knows, the more disciplined we are, generally, the happier we're going to be. To a point. I mean, don't like be obsessive about it and go, okay, like I'm at dinner now, but I've got to do my 5 minutes of practice. So I whip out my Course in Miracles and just like be normal. You could just think about it. You're sitting at dinner in between a conversation, or you go to the loo, you could just think about it and bring it to mind. So it's about just finding a way to structure it into your life. And that leads us nicely into the next one. Therefore, structure is necessary for me at this time. So someone else read that. Whose turn is it? Elaine, you want to read?
Oh, yeah. Therefore, structure is necessary for me at this time. Planned to include frequent reminders of my goal and regular attempts to reach it. Regularity in terms of time is not the ideal requirement for the most beneficial form of practice in awakening. However, it is advantageous for those whose motivation is inconsistent and who remain heavily resistant to learning.
So what's he saying there?
Well, it's just there's a structure needed, however, and regularity is ideal, but it's not going to be for everybody. So he's just saying those who are resistant to the learning, just
Yeah, that's exactly why I need the structure, because you are resistant to the learning. So structure is going to help you overcome the resistance. Because you'll probably be resistant to that structure because your ego doesn't want to learn it. Let's be honest about it. That's why you don't want to do it. Like, oh, I don't have the time. I'm like, oh, if you really, if he said to you, okay, so you practice this course, as I've said, and I will give you $1 million at the end of the year. To be honest with yourself, would you be more motivated? You probably would. Oh, there's a tangible reward. Okay, if I clock it and I'm diligent, I could earn $1 million by just doing this course. Okay, I'll focus my attention. You want to see how, if you did that and you offered someone $1 million, if they did this properly, someone might actually do it, or they get close to it, because it's a tangible reward. We don't seem to be motivated by the intangible. Oh, well, I'll have love and peace and joy. No, $1 million is, in the ego's thought system, much more alluring, much more enticing. But he's saying to us, look, you need the structure because you are inconsistent, because you're still a beginner, essentially. And that structure is going to help you to master this art of letting go. Without the structure, it's going to be difficult to master. Just in the same way as, you learn a new skill. Let's say you're learning piano. I don't play the piano, but you got to learn your scales, right? You got to go through there's a structure to it. You don't just suddenly become a master pianist, concert pianist. You start with the basics and you learn, and then you build and you build and you build and you build. Eventually, if you keep doing that for years and years and years, you'll get to this highly advanced level of being a concert pianist. But they had to go through the structure, and even at that advanced level, they will have a structure. They'll probably practice several hours a day in a structured way, to hone and improve those skills. So that's what he's suggesting we do. Okay, and then next one. Therefore, I will keep to the 5 minutes an hour practice periods.
Yeah, shall I read that? So, therefore, I will keep to the 5 minutes on 5 minutes an hour practice periods for a while and omit as few as possible. Using the first 5 minutes of each hour will be particularly helpful for me since it imposes firmer structure. However, I will not use my lapses from the schedule as an excuse not to return to it again as soon as I can. I may well be tempted to regard the day as lost because I have already failed to do what is required. However, I will merely recognize this as what it is, a refusal to let my mistake be corrected and an unwillingness to try again. So basically, yeah, keep practicing the 5 minutes every hour. But if you, basically saying, but if you, if you kind of fall off the wagon, don't beat yourself up and use that as an excuse not to carry on, but just get back on and,
Yeah.
kind
Keep practicing.
keep
Because the
going.
danger is you go, oh, well, I've messed it up. I've missed this. Okay. Throw the baby out of the bathwater. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Because I'm terrible. I'm such a bad student. So I may as well just give up.
Yeah.
Stop practicing. I'm never going to get this. And of course, that's exactly what the ego wants you to do. So this is really useful that he's going into this in a lesson. The instructions on how to practice his course, because that is as important as the actual teachings.
Yeah.
How are you actually using this course, and some of the challenges you're going to face and you have to overcome. So that, like any good coach, they would address this. Any good, let's say, football coach who's football or piano teacher would try and help you through some of the difficulties and go, yeah, okay, so yes, you're going to go through that stage of resistance. Yes, you don't want to practice your scales because it's boring, but you need to do that to lay the foundation. If you don't do the basics, then you haven't got a foundation. So when I learned squash, for instance, I just hit the ball up and down the wall on my own for like 6 months. It was boring as hell. I was like, can we go now? My sister was on the next court, and I'm hitting it in the dark as well. We didn't have money for lights. I'm just hitting up and down the wall. And I'm going, oh, God, this is like for hours. Do I have to do this? No, she did like. So because she was there, I like kind of had to do what Big Sister said, and we'd go and do this for hours at a time. But within a year of that, within about 18 months of that, I'd won the South African National Championships. Why? Because I had the structure. I was like, I could just hit the ball up and down the wall by default. I could just do it because I'd done it over and over and over again to a length, I could just do it. And so actually, I'm really grateful for that. It was really boring, but it laid the foundation for my whole career because I could just do that thing. I could just hit it up and down the wall, and I had a really solid foundational game. And that took, just repetition. Do it again. Nothing fancy, nothing glamorous. Hitting the ball up and down in a dark court on your own. But that was where that title was won in those moments. So in the same way, your awakening is won in the moments where you're like, okay, no one's looking. Nothing glamorous, nothing fancy, but I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do my lesson. I'm going to practice over and over and over again. And no one's giving me any kudos. No one's giving me a reward. I'm just going to do it because I know it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get us into that mindset of your own internal guide. Your Holy Spirit is your taskmaster. Is the one that keeps you in alignment. It's not coming from anywhere else. But start to learn to listen to that and trust that guidance, and listen to the willingness to be disciplined. It's so important. Without discipline, you're not going to learn anything, are you? You absolutely are not going to learn this course if you have no discipline. Which is why probably a lot of people don't want to do it, because they're gonna have to become more disciplined. They're gonna have to create some structure, and the ego doesn't want to do that. So this course isn't for me. I prefer just to do my own thing. I'm more kind of free flowing, but usually that's just an excuse not to do the work that's actually going to work.
Well, I'm actually using this course to get disciplined, Jonathan. I think I told you at the very beginning. That was one of the reasons why I want to do it. I wanted to do it was because I wanted to basically.
Which is probably a really good motivation.
Yeah.
I think that what they call them, in spiritual circles, blissner needs. People who are just seeking the spiritual high. And they go, oh, okay, Course in Miracles, that can give me my high. They'll be disappointed. They might have some highs, And the first few months of the course can be wonderful, and you go, "Oh, so amazing, such amazing teaching." Yeah, until you hit your ego, and all the crap starts coming out,
Mm.
and then it's not fun because you've got to work through all that darkness
Mm.
and let it go to get to the light. As Carl Jung said, the only way of getting to the light is to make the darkness conscious. That is not fun. No one can say that's fun work. It's horrible,
Yeah.
but it has to be done. If you don't do that, and you don't do those hard yards, then you're never going to awaken. So there's you need a lot of grit. It's that old English. I think it's a northern saying, grit, like resilience, like okay,
Perseverance.
perseverance. I'm going to dig in, vasbyt, as they say in Afrikaans. Kim, you'll know that. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm going to dig in. I'm going to grit my teeth. I'm going to be resilient, and I'm going to find a way.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes. Is that resilient mindset.
Mm.
And you'll do much better to come to the course with that mindset than a mindset of, oh, it's all going to be love and light and hey, chihuahua and amazing. And it's, because you're going to likely be disappointed at some point with that, because you're going to go through the hard yards, the dark nights of the soul, and you're going to go, no, this isn't all love and light. This isn't love and light. This is what I signed up for. I don't want this. I'm out of here. I'm going to go to, another teaching or something that's going to promise me, all this bliss and joy, and it's all going to be cool. Maybe I'll go and do some ayahuasca or something like that because it's much more fun. And, because it's hard work. I don't want to face my ego.
Yeah.
But you've got to. Every single spiritual path will take you there eventually. If it's an authentic path, you're going to have to face your ego. There's no way around it. So he's saying, well, okay, just accept that and be realistic and be humble in that undertaking, and that will stand you in good stead.
Mm.
And so, yeah, this gets really interesting. He's saying, let's look at your mistakes then. Okay? So the Holy Spirit, or the remembrance of perfect love, is not delayed in its teaching by my mistakes.
Mm.
Can be held back only by my unwillingness to let them go.
Mm.
Okay, so I make mistakes. That's fine. It's not a problem. You don't have to do it perfectly, but just be willing to recognize them as mistakes and let them go.
Mm.
Again, course students fail all the time in this. I'm just so bad. Such a bad course student. I'm never going to get it right.
Mm.
No, I'm a bad course student. You just got an ego like everyone else, and the ego's fighting back. It does that. That's the nature of the beast you're dealing with. So you just got to keep being willing to show up and let it go. And then ultimately the ego can't sustain against that level of perseverance. Dogged persistence will win out over bliss seeking every day.
Yeah.
And twice on Sunday. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep practicing. And when it gets really tough, just go, all right, I'm just got to keep doing my practice. That's my way out. Not I'm looking somewhere else. Oh, this isn't working. No, I've got to deepen into this.
Mm.
And that's when you start to mature spiritually. You start to really get it. When things get really difficult and really tough, and you don't abandon your practice. In fact, you go, my practice is the way out of this.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, I've got so much going on. I don't have time for this. No, wrong. It's exactly when you need it.
Yeah.
You need it most when all hell's breaking loose and your life seems to be falling apart.
Yeah.
That's exactly when you need to practice the most. But it happens all the time. No. Just going to get like just too much going on. Can't do your course this year. And then, another year comes and it's like, they're just never going to do it. Most people. Because they actually don't want to do it. Let's be honest. You don't want to do it because it's gonna be too difficult. It's gonna really push your ego's buttons, and you're gonna have to really dig deep and work at it and reveal yourself. You remember some of the guys who joined the Art of Letting Go, and they didn't last. Why? Because they didn't want to do the work.
Yeah.
They didn't really want to look. The one guy said, "Spot on. That's absolutely spot on." Remember, Kim? He said, spot on. I'm like, okay, well, hopefully something's landed. And he said, no, I didn't learn anything from the process. I'm like, hang on, you said it was spot on. So how can you say it's spot on and then you didn't learn anything? I don't get that at all. There's a disconnect there, isn't it?
Mm.
But,
And
this
who
is
was
what the
saying
ego,
that?
I won't mention names because it's being recorded here.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
just
Yeah.
like, remember, you didn't know him at all. Like he'd introduced himself for 5 minutes. No prior history. You didn't know the guy at all, and you were spot on with your comments.
Are you talking about the name your game? Sorry, I
Yes,
thought you
exactly.
meant- Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
you were absolutely spot on. And he went, yeah, spot on. I'm like, okay, oh, something's landed. I thought, okay, this is good, maybe something's gonna come of this. Next day, no, I didn't learn anything. I'm like, no, come on, dude, you're not being honest.
Mm.
Because you're being honest, and a perfect stranger who's only heard you speak for a few minutes gets all of your stuff spot on. Come on, you know what I mean? There's learning there. There's got to be something to work with
Yeah.
if you're honest about it. But if you don't want to do the work, you go, oh, I didn't learn anything. No, it's just pointless. I didn't learn anything from the process. No, you just don't want to learn anything from the process. That's the truth. So we've got to be really honest with ourselves and hold ourselves accountable. Go, okay, yeah, I know there's an unwillingness there because I know your ego knows that if you learn this, it's the goner, it's done for, it's the game over, right? It's the end of it. If you really get this course, so now you're playing for keeps, and so then it goes into massive defense mode and pushes every single obstacle you can imagine, and some you can't have imagined. Cooks up every possible problem, drama, situation to try and trigger you into believing in it rather than in the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And that's why it gets difficult. But that, you understand, that's exactly what you want it to do. Because when it does that, it reveals itself.
Mm.
And when it reveals itself, you then get to see it very clearly and you get to choose against it. So it's actually undoing itself. The more it defends, the more it reveals itself, the more you can undo it. And that's why ultimately the Holy Spirit, the remembrance of perfect love or abundance, is going to undo the ego. Because no matter what the ego does, it can just reinterpret it and use it for your awakening. And the ego's got no answer to that other than to intensify its assault. So, okay, let's give you something even more difficult, even more outrageous. The Holy Spirit calmly just looks and says, okay, come, whatever, bring it. Let's get it over with, That great scene in The Matrix, remember, I mentioned it. It's my favorite scene, where he's on the platform, he's getting the shit kicked out of him, spitting blood, and then he gets up, does a little kung fu move, and he says to Smith, who's obviously the symbol of the ego, he says, come, let's get it over with. Let's have it on. And it's that courage to go, okay, come, give me your best shot.
Yeah.
I'm not scared anymore. I'm not going to run away. And remember what Morpheus says to him. Yeah? You have to face it. Someone has to face the agents if the system is going to be undone. You have to face your ego. You can't run away from it.
Yeah.
So you see how it's all tying together.
Like
the principles in these movies, the course teaching, hopefully it's all getting clearer and clearer in your mind. It's like this is one integrated thought system, one truth that you're here to learn. And the Holy Spirit is using all these different mechanisms, this course and the movies and everything else that you've learned. It's using all of that to help you in this, because there is the most powerful force in the universe is behind your awakening. Always remember that. We think the ego is all powerful, but it's not. It's actually quite weak and desperate, because it's facing impossible odds. It's facing pure formless awareness of perfect love itself, fundamental awareness that cannot be deconstructed, that is eternal, infinite, that's always been there. Like, how do you face up against that and win? And say, no, I'm right and you're wrong. It's a losing battle, isn't it? It's been fighting a losing battle since time began. And Jesus is saying, well, maybe it's time to stop fighting a losing battle. Just give it up. Let it go. Because it's exhausting. It's a battle you can never win.
Mm.
All right, so number 8, the remembrance of perfect love of abundance is not delayed. Someone read that.
Okay. The remembrance of perfect love or abundance is not delayed in its teaching by my mistakes. So I just carry on.
Yeah.
Okay. It can be held back only by my unwillingness to let them go. Therefore, I'm determined, particularly for the next week or so, to let go of judging myself for my lapses in diligence and my failures to follow instructions for practicing the day's idea. This tolerance for weakness will enable me to overlook it, rather than to give it power to delay my learning. If I give it power to do this, I am regarding it as strength and confusing strength with weakness.
Thoughts on that?
Well, we're not going to, don't worry about, well, okay. You're going to have lapses, but don't begrudge that. Just go, okay, it happened, and go on to the next one, rather than giving it power that, oh, I missed this hour,
like,
that hour, exactly.
let go. Practice forgiveness of yourself for your lapses.
Mm.
Instead of going, oh, it's terrible, I'm such a terrible course student, can't do it. That's not forgiveness. Just let go of the weakness. Let go of the error, and go, yeah, it's okay. All right, so I didn't do it every hour, but I did it a few times in the day. That's quite good. I'm doing all right. At least I'm practicing. It's a lot better than not practicing it at all.
Yeah.
So very pragmatic guidance. This, really, a master teacher, he understands so much about the human psyche. He understands that it's going to be difficult for you with your ego. And so he's speaking to that and saying, okay, so like, I get it, yes, you ultimately are the Christ and you're perfect, whole, and complete, but in your current state, you don't know that yet.
Mm.
And there are going to be a lot of lapses, and there's this isn't going to be a perfect process, but it's okay. And so then there's a lot of reassurance there. You're like, okay, well, I just need to do my best here. I just need to do it to the best that I can do it, and it's okay. And I'm still making progress. I don't have to do it, 100% perfectly. That's one of the things in the art of letting go. In the first week, everyone's like, I've got to do this perfectly. Everyone does it. And I'm like, no, it's fine. Just do what you can,
Yeah.
I'll set the bar high. It's there. So if you wanted to do it all, you could spend hours and hours a day. But realistically, most people aren't going to do that. So just do what you can. If you can do a couple of hours, that's pretty good. A lot more than you would have done.
Yeah.
And so just pat yourself on the back and go, yeah, that's a win. Like I'm actually doing this. Although I'm not doing it perfectly, I'm doing a lot more than I would have done.
Yeah.
2 hours a day is still, significant spiritual practice, far more than nothing. And therein lies, there's a lot of benefits in that. All right, and then number 9. So when I fail to comply requirements of this course, whose turn? Elaine, maybe you want to read?
Yeah. When I fail to comply with the requirements of this course, I have merely made a mistake. This calls for correction and for nothing else. To allow a mistake to continue is to make additional mistakes based on the first and reinforcing it. It is this process that I must let go of, or it is just another way in which I try to defend illusions against the truth. So it's just saying, if we fail to comply with the requirements, don't beat ourselves up. Just get on track. Just don't, realize it's just another defense, another trick of the illusions against the truth.
Yeah, don't allow the mistake to get you. And we're going off course all the time. Analogy, quite a good one is, and given I've just flown, came to mind. So apparently an aeroplane is off course like 90% of the time. So a little gust of wind goes minorly off course, but then it corrects instantly. It's automatic navigation goes, okay, just a little adjustment, and it's fine. But it's doing that all the time. It's going off course, correcting, going off course, correcting, that's happening all the time. If we're like, oh, we're going off course, we've lost the plot, give up the flight. That's essentially what the ego wants us to do. No, just correct it and get back on track. When you realize the error, get back on track and do your practice for the next hour. And even if you miss like a whole afternoon, okay, we'll just do evening practice then.
Yeah.
And move on. Don't get caught up in it. Some people are like, oh, I didn't do this lesson properly. I've got to do it again. Oh, still didn't get it right. Got to do it again. Oh, seventh time. Maybe I got it perfectly. No, just move on. Like, you did it, whatever. Maybe you're busy that day. You only did it once. Move on. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Just carry on. Because if you keep doing the course, you'll cycle back to that. The next year, you'll get to that lesson again. Yeah. And the next year will be different. Next year, like I haven't really read this lesson. Yeah, because you didn't really get it. You didn't really pay attention because you weren't in the right mindset at that time. But the next year, you might really go deep into it and go, wow, like I'm seeing a whole lot more in this lesson than I ever thought. And you have 365 of those opportunities to explore. So it's very deep, very rich, and you can get value from it even after reading these lessons 20 times. I've done the workbook for 20 times, I think. That was my 20th year. Yeah. Started in 2026. So I've done it every year for 20 years. And yet I still get a lot of value from it. It's not like, oh, this is boring. These ideas are all old hats. I know this. It's like, no. Because it's an inner exploration. It's an inquiry. And you're always dealing with the ego and its illusions. So it helps you to deal with those. And you just go deeper and deeper into it. So that's the hallmark of a good teaching, is it has the greater depths of significance. As you go deeper into it, more and more of the truth reveals itself. And so instead of going, oh, I'm just bored to tears, it actually starts coming alive. The first year you're just scratching the surface. The second year maybe you go a bit deeper. Okay, but by year 10, maybe you're like now penetrating to some real depth, and there's some real layers of truth and meaning revealing themselves that you just didn't see before. And that's what it does, just because it's an excavation of these deeper layers of your psyche to reveal that truth that's buried underneath. And that can take a decade. It took me probably, at least a decade before I really started understanding this course. And I had to go through significant personal crisis in order to do that. I needed the crisis to really understand it, which is why all things work for good. Okay, so when I failed to comply with the requirements of this course, did we do that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
We did that, yeah. All right, so number 10, I'll let all these errors go. Someone else read that. Actually, this could do with reading in the original and the alternative. It's a bit of translation required. So who wants to read the original and who wants to read the alternative?
I can read the original.
Okay.
So let all these errors go by recognizing them for what they are.
Okay. I'll let all these errors go by recognizing them for what they are.
They are attempts to keep you unaware you are one self united with your creator, at one with every aspect of creation, and limitless in power and in peace.
There are attempts to keep me unaware that I am one self, united with my source, at one with every aspect of extension, and limitless in power and peace.
This is the truth, and nothing else is true.
This is the truth, and nothing else is true.
Today we will affirm this truth again and try to reach the place in you in which there is no doubt that only this is true.
Right. This is the truth, and nothing else is true.
Yeah, next one.
I will
I'll
affirm
affirm
this truth again today and try to reach a state within my mind in which there is no doubt that only this is true.
Okay, and then just from the top.
I will let all these errors go by recognizing them for what they are. They are strength, attempts to keep me unaware that I am one self, united with my source, at one with every aspect of extension and limitless in power and peace. This is the truth, and nothing else is true. I will affirm this truth again today and try to reach the state within my mind in which there is no doubt that only this is true. So it's saying that we'll have these errors coming up, recognize what they are, let them go, don't hold on to them, and just recognize that they keep us unaware from the oneness and truth. And what has been described here is the truth, nothing else but the truth. And we just keep practicing and reaffirming this, and it helps us to reach a higher state of mind and also solidify that this is true.
This is the truth, and nothing else is true. Very important that both of those parts of the sentence are there. Right? This is the truth. Okay, obvious. But the problem as well is we have an alternative to the truth. We have an illusion, which we're tempted to believe in. So the second part of the sentence acknowledges that and says, but nothing else that seems to be true is really true. Nothing else is true. Truth is true. Nothing else is true is a perfect non-dual statement. That realization takes you from believing in duality, i.e., I believe in truth and I believe in untruth, and I believe both of them are true. That's a ridiculous position to be in. How can both of them be true? They contradict each other. This is the truth and nothing else is true means that only the truth is true, and only that should be in your mind and in your life. So affirm the truth again today. Try to reach a state in my mind where there is no doubt that only this is true. And that's the purpose of the practice, which the preparation leads us quite nicely into. So there's a meditation, which we can do. I think let's read. These are quite beautiful to read, and then we'll do the med. Okay, so just read number 2. I'm oneself, united with my creator. And someone read the alternative version of that. Okay, so I'll read. I am oneself.
I am oneself, united with my creator, at one with every aspect of creation, and limitless in power and in peace.
And then Archie Land, you can read that one.
Yeah, I am one self, united with my source, at one with every aspect of extension, and limitless in power and peace.
Okay, and then you'd repeat, closing your eyes, tell yourself again. So the meditation is important. You repeat the idea, and he's asking us to repeat it several times and really feel the meaning that the words convey. Right, so like you say, feel into the idea, feel into the words. It's like go from just words, concepts into actual feeling and experience. Okay. So then on to the next one. Again, let's read this original and alternative. You are one self, united and secure. Wants to read that, and then someone read the alternative sentence by sentence.
Yeah, I'll do. You are one self, united and source, and secure, light and joy and peace.
I can read the alternative. If you can scroll down, please, Jonathan.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. I am one self, united and secure in pure formless awareness, joy and peace.
You are God's Son, one self with one Creator and one goal, to bring awareness of this oneness to all minds, that true creation may extend the allness and the unity of God.
I am perfect love's extension, one self with one source and one goal, to bring awareness of this oneness to all minds, so that true being may extend the wholeness and the unity of perfect love.
You are one self, complete and healed and whole, with power to lift the veil of darkness from the world, and let the light in you come through to teach the world the truth about yourself.
Yeah, number 3.
Yeah. I am one self, complete and healed and whole, with power to lift the veil of negative awareness from the world, and let the pure, formless awareness of perfect love in me come through to teach the world the truth about myself.
From the top, Archie.
Yeah. I am one self, united and secure in pure, formless awareness, joy and peace. I am perfect love's extension, one self with one source and one goal, to bring awareness of this oneness to all minds, so that true being may extend the wholeness and the unity of perfect love. I am one self, complete and healed and whole, with power to lift the veil of negative awareness from the world, and let the pure, formless awareness of perfect love in me come through me to teach the world the truth about myself.
Okay, thoughts on that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just reinforcing I am one self. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do like I like 3, where it says I'm one self, complete and healed and whole, with power to lift the veil of negative awareness from the world, and let the pure, formless awareness of perfect love in me come through to teach the world the truth about myself.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are powerful affirmations.
Yeah, yeah. It just reinforce. Yeah, I like the way it's kind of reinforcing what what my true self is,
Mm.
and what its purpose is as well.
Mm. Yeah, and the more you start to get in touch with the self, the more you realize that it's you, and that that there's really nothing else going on. But when you start off, it's a concept, it's an ideal. It's like, oh, that's self, but you've got to work through layers and layers of the false self, of the ego, before you start uncovering that true self. So the journey can take many years.
Yeah.
Once you start connecting with that self and really feeling it, you can feel it.
Yeah.
And when it happens, it's amazing. It's what the whole process is about. But it can take time. If I think now about my practice compared to 20 years ago, I mean, it's light years different. It's so different.
Yeah.
But that was the start. When I started 20 years ago, I didn't really have much idea of what I was doing. Some of the ideas were interesting. It was like, I want to. There was a willingness, but did I really get it? No, not at all. I didn't really get it at all. Which is exactly why I needed to study the course.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really get it, and the course was going to help me to get it. And 20 years later, like, okay, now I'm actually waking up to the self. This is me. This is my own true self, my own nature, which I've been seeking for and successfully managing not to find for lifetimes after lifetime after lifetime. Know thyself.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's more rewarding. You finally know who and what you are.
Yeah.
That gives you clarity and certainty and peace, and everything comes from identifying with that self. And conversely, all darkness, all pain comes from denying that self. You've denied it in some way, and then you're left with a miserable, vicious, weak, ugly, separate self that masquerades as yourself, but isn't yourself. It can never make you happy. All right, so number 13, we're getting there. I'm nearly finished. I am oneself in perfect harmony.
Okay, I'll go. I am oneself in perfect harmony with all there is and all that there ever will be. I am oneself, the pure extension of perfect love, united with.
So just let someone else read the alternative.
Yeah, I am oneself, perfect harmony with all there is and all that there ever will be.
You are oneself, the Holy Son of God, united with your brothers in that self, united with your Father in his will.
I am oneself, the pure extension of perfect love, united with everyone in that self, united with my source in its awareness.
Feel this oneself in you and let it shine away all your illusions and your doubts.
I feel this oneself in me and let it shine away all my illusions and doubts.
This is yourself, the Son of God himself, sinless as its creator, with his strength within you and his love forever yours.
This is my true self, the extension of perfect love itself, innocent as its source, with love's strength within me and forever mine.
You are oneself, and it is given you to feel the self within you and to cast all your illusions out of the one mind that is the self, the holy truth in you.
I am one self, and I can feel the self within me. Cast all my illusions out of the one awareness that is this self, the whole truth in me.
Again, from the top.
Oh, yeah. I am one self in perfect harmony with all there is and all that there ever will be. I am one self, the pure extension of perfect love, united with everyone in that self, united with my source and its awareness. I feel this one self in me and let it shine away all my illusions and doubts. This is my true self, the extension of perfect love itself, innocent as its source, with love's strength within me and forever mine. I am one self, and I can feel this self within me cast all my illusions out of the one awareness that is this self, the whole truth in me. So it's just saying this is where our perfect harmony is, in this one self, and it's there for all of us. And we're united with this source in this awareness. So we just cast away all our illusions and find our way into this one awareness that is our true whole self.
And you say it as abundance. It's actually comes in. I find that adds another dimension to it. So the pure extension of perfect love or abundance. It's awareness or abundance. It's abundant life itself. It's the essence of an awareness that's only abundant, right? There's no scarcity, no lack, no limitation in this. It's only abundant because it's infinite and it's eternal. And this self casts out all illusions. The whole truth or abundance in me. So read that again, Elaine. Actually, someone else read it with the abundance in it and just see how that changes.
I can read it. So, I am one self in perfect harmony with all there is and all that there ever will be. I am one self, the pure extension of perfect love or abundance, united with everyone in that self, united with my source in its awareness or abundance. I feel this one self in me and let it shine away all my illusions and doubts. This is my true self, the extension of perfect love or abundance itself, innocence as its source, which is abundance itself, with love's strength within me and forever mine. I am one self, and I can feel this self within me cast all my illusions out of the one awareness that is this self, the whole truth or abundance in me.
Yeah. So does that word abundance make any difference?
It does.
Your mind. I think it's quite useful to think of it in that way because often love works in a relationship context. You say, it's perfect love, it's unconditional love. I understand that. But if you're talking about abundant mindset, abundant thinking, financial issues, and so on, which are quite common, you think of it as perfect love, is a disconnect. This kind of doesn't. Okay, so perfect love doesn't really have anything to do with money, but abundance is really just a synonym for perfect love. Perfect love is, by definition, abundant. It's whole. It's complete. It's not limited. Yeah. So it's powerful stuff. This lesson is so very simple, but just claiming that oneself and really feeling it, feeling the oneself in this way, it changes what's called your vibrational frequency. When you really identify with this, it creates a feeling and a harmony. As he says, in perfect harmony with all there is. It creates a harmony in your thoughts, your words, your emotions, your actions. It extends out into the matrix and starts changing it. And so this is what all the mystery schools taught. By identifying with the one self, you change your frequency and you start creating miraculous synchronicities, miracles in the world. And you can become very, very powerful in that way without even intending to. You're actually just going into the truth. Okay. So really, really powerful stuff. And this is the secret of the ages. This is the wisdom of the ages. This is what the alchemists taught, what all the mystery schools taught. The connection with the one self, and then how that translates into your life. When you identify with the one self, how does that translate in your life? How does that look? And that's what we have to answer for ourselves, experientially. Oh, it looks like this for me. Well, how do you know unless you live that? All right. So number 14, sorry, I will not forget this today. Number 14. I want to read that.
Okay, I'll read it. Do not forget today.
Okay. Who else is still? Just want to leave the call. Let me just go back in there. No, no one there. So yeah, still on. Archie left. Okay. What is she meant to? All right. So Elaine, if you can. Sorry, wrong one. Just get into there. Oh, there. Archie's back. Okay. So if you can read the alternative, Archie, if you're back, or Elaine.
Yeah, I will not forget this today.
We need your help, your little part to bring happiness to all the world.
Yeah, we need. Oh, where am I? Am I on the alternative?
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone needs my help, so I must play my little part in bringing happiness to all the world.
And heaven looks like you in confidence that you will try today.
And the state of pure formless awareness looks to me in confidence that I will try today.
Share then its surety, for it is yours.
I share its surety, for it is mine.
Be vigilant.
I will be vigilant.
Do not forget today.
I will not forget today.
Throughout the day, do not forget your goal.
I will not forget my goal.
Repeat today's idea as frequently as possible, and understand each time you do so, someone hears the voice of hope, the stirring of the truth within his mind, the gentle rustling of the wings of peace.
I will repeat today's idea as frequently as possible and understand each time I do so, someone hears the voice of hope, the stirring of the truth within their mind, and the gentle rustling of the wings of peace.
Okay, and from the top, Elaine.
I will not forget this today. Everyone needs my help, so I must play my little part in bringing happiness to all the world. And the state of pure formless awareness looks to me in confidence that I will try today. I share its surety, for it is mine. I will be vigilant. I will not forget today. I will not forget my goal. I will repeat today's idea as frequently as possible and understand each time I do so. Someone hears the voice of hope, the stirring of the truth within their mind, and the gentle rustling of the wings of peace. It's just asking us not to forget our role today and have confidence in our pure formless awareness and be sure that it is yours, and just not to forget and just keep repeating it and understand each time you do so. Someone will hear this voice of hope and hopefully, well, not hopefully, will stir the truth within their minds and bring some peace.
Yeah, well said. A really simple, inspiring thought system. Saying, remember, remember the truth. Remember when you're tempted to forget, because you will be tempted to forget. That's what the illusion is. It's the temptation to forget. So determination, grit, perseverance. Persevere with this. All right, speaking of which, we're nearly at the end. And then we can do a meditation on this. Okay?
Yeah.
So read the original alternative of the last paragraph.
Right, should I do the original?
Yeah, no problem.
Your own acknowledgement you are one self, united with your Father, is a call to all the world to be at one with you.
Okay,
I
who's
realised
reading the alternative?
sorry, I realised I was muted. My own acknowledgement, I am one self, united with my source, is a call to everyone to be one with me.
To everyone you meet today, be sure to give the promise of today's idea and tell him this.
I will be sure to give the promise of today's idea to everyone I meet today and tell them this.
You are one self with me, united with our Creator in this self.
You are one self united with me and our source in this self.
I honor you because of what I am and what he is. He loves us both as one.
I honor you because of what I am and what my source is, which loves us both as one. And from the top, my own acknowledgement, I am one self united with my source, is a call to everyone to be one with me. I will be sure to give the promise of today's idea to everyone I meet today and tell them this. You are one self united with me and our source in this self. I honor you because of what I am and what my source is, which loves us both as one.
I put abundance in there. What do you think?
My own acknowledgement, I am one self united with my source or abundance. Yeah, that's
I like
okay.
it.
Yeah, it's a call to everyone to be one with me. Yeah.
I think it just gives a different, that word gives a different perspective. Your source. Okay, so this source is abundance itself, right? It's an abundant abundant mindset that doesn't know about limitation and lack and scarcity and fear and doubt and all of that stuff, which is also love. But remember, scarcity is the ego's doctrine. It only exists because it is apparently separated from abundance, and now it lives in scarcity by its own decision. The separation created this illusion of scarcity. So highlighting that the alternative to the ego's thought system of scarcity is this infinite abundance, which is the same as love. It's all just words that point you to a truth within you. But I think it gives another angle on it, doesn't it? It gives another perspective on it, which is really what the alternative versions are about. They're about giving you another take on it, another perspective, so that you get a better understanding, more rounded understanding of what we're talking about. And I have to say, since I've been doing this, it's changed my own perspective and therefore understanding of the course and of the lesson. It's like, okay, so because you're just making it conscious that this source, God, pure formless awareness, is abundance itself. And so if you're thinking in scarcity in any way, so there's any fear, there's any anxiety, there's any worry, there's any doubt, there's any negativity, any limited thinking, you are denying your source. Makes it very, very clear. You are denying abundance whenever you have a scarcity thought. We need to be aware of how often we do that in order to counteract it and let it go and return our minds to the abundance that they really are. And so the practice is notice, especially businesses dealing commodities. So a lot of stuff can go wrong, a lot of different actors. And so what it tends to do is from time to time you doubt and you go, is this going to work? I'm not sure. So whenever I have that kind of a thought, scarcity thought, I immediately go, no, stop. That's a scarcity thought. You're denying God or infinite abundance here. Just let it go and restore your mind to that abundant state, which is an inner state. You feel connected to it. In that state, you feel whole, you feel complete, and there's no scarcity. And so you've corrected the scarcity thought with an abundance thought. And that's the miracle. So it's another way of approaching it, another way of doing it. Because any scarcity thought is a thought of the ego. And any genuinely abundant thought is a thought coming from the Holy Spirit. So you can use the term scarcity and abundance to make that distinction. Okay. So that is the main lesson. There is actually I'll draw your attention to the summaries. I don't know if you're reading the summaries. I don't know why I made that smaller. Let's make that bigger. Sorry, I didn't do this properly. I wrote it last night. Like I literally had an hour in Addis Ababa airport to do this. I was like, okay, I just got to get it. I just managed. Amazing how the flow happens when you really get into it. It's just like like I finished right on time, watched the first half of the England game, and then I'm like catching, and everything just flowed, including the person I sat next to. And that is part of the abundant life, when you can get into that flow and everything just flows smoothly, and the experience is a nice one, a pleasant one, an abundant one. That's the abundant life that Jesus talked about. So you will have a life and more abundantly. He didn't mean in the hereafter. He talked about eternity and eternal life in other passages. What he meant was an abundant life in this world. And this is how you do it, by consistently letting go of the idea of scarcity as and when it arises. And notice, make this your practice this week. notice how often that happens. Start noticing how often you think a scarcity thought. And you'll be shocked. They're like, so often we think a scarcity thought and we consider it normal, which, yeah, well, okay, I've got a bit of worry, a bit of doubt, but that's normal, it's fine. No, this teaching says not fine, because that scarcity thought denies God. It denies your true self, it denies God, it puts you in an illusion of a separate self. It's catastrophic in its outcome. It just doesn't seem that way. It's part of a thought system that is a catastrophe. So you want to correct it immediately. Whenever you think that thought of scarcity, you correct it with the thought of abundance. So you go, oh, I'm worried I don't have enough money, for instance. Instead of thinking that, you go, no, my needs are always provided. I'm abundance itself. So I am enough. So therefore I always have enough to meet my true needs and live an abundant, inspired, and purposeful life. You correct it. It takes a vigilance and a discipline to do that. You've got to be really vigilant and aware and catch these thoughts as and when they happen. And if you get into the habit of starting to do that and making the corrections, you are really practicing this course. So using the framework of abundance, notice then, okay, so ask yourself, if you have a thought, is that thought really an abundant thought? And the more you do that, the more you start to become aware of the thoughts that aren't abundant. They're out of alignment with that. You're like, okay, so I'm thinking a limited thought. I'm thinking, yeah, well, if I don't have enough money, then I'm gonna make these provisions. This is what we do. I want to make this. Hang on. You started off from a false premise. You started off with scarcity, you see? So anything you do from that false premise is also going to be false. So stop the whole train of thought then and there, because you're going down a false track. And that's what you got to get good at doing. Just arrest your thought. No, that's false. It's a scarcity thought. Only abundance is true. So no, I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to go down that road and now start creating all kinds of scenarios based on what's false, which is what the ego loves to do. Have you noticed that? Always planning for a rainy day, planning for the worst, planning for disaster. Oh, I've got to have a plan B and a backup and a plan C if I don't have that. From the ego's perspective, that all seems to be sensible, but actually it's all based on scarcity. So it's all a lie. It's all an illusion. And then if you build your whole life on that construct, your life is built on a foundation that's an illusion. All right. So let us just have a read of the summary. Read this slide. Elaine, if you can read that for us, kindly.
You are one self with me, united with our Creator in this self. And within the one self, there is an aspect of the sun, an aspect of the sun on the other side, you, Jesus, me, and then there's a little family there with the father and his brother, me there, and you. I honor you because of what I am and what he is, and who loves us both as one.
So we start seeing that everyone is a facet of the diamond of the one self. Right? There's really only one, but we see different aspects of that one self in other people. And so that person is an aspect of it. That's an aspect of it. But underneath that person is the light that is whole, complete, and perfect. So they manifest temporarily in form as an aspect because they've got seemingly a separate body. But actually, they're just one. There's only one of us here. That's the teacher. Seems like the world is populated by 8 or so billion people, and who knows how many other separate animals, plants, insects, and so on. But actually, there's only one self. Okay. So very, very powerful. So let's read the key message. We don't really do this very often, so I want to just read it to introduce you to this, and then we'll do the meditation to close the session. How's that sound? Okay. So read a paragraph. So Kim, if you can read the top one.
This lesson is a contemplative reflection on my true identity as the extension of perfect love or abundance. I am oneself, united with my source or abundance. This unity is unchangeable, yet I mistakenly believe I have changed myself, perceiving a false divided self that is weak, sinful, and separate from perfect love or abundance.
Okay, thoughts on that?
We believe that we the separate self, but in actual fact that's not true. We're the one self, one with source.
And can you see how that separate self denies perfect love or abundance? If you believe in that separate self, you cannot believe in abundance. You must believe in scarcity. It dictates it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so then you see the hopelessness of the ego's position. It's like, oh, well, I want to keep my separate self, but I want to have an abundant separate self. I want to be rich. I want to be famous. I want to do whatever. But I'm doing it from a thought system based on scarcity. That separate self is only an illusion.
Okay.
All right, so I will not judge myself for lapses in practice.
I will not for lapses in practice, but return gently and without to my practice of today's idea. Mistakes are not failures, but calls for correction and opportunity to let go of visions that block the truth. The remembrance of perfect love is always available and is only delayed by
You just went away, aren't you? Just disappeared. Am I still connected or? Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. No, Archie just disappeared. Okay. So, Archie, you there?
No.
No, she's gone. Okay. Yeah, so this truth is the abundance, and saying a mistake shouldn't be allowed to block this. Just let go of the errors. It's always available. It's only delayed by my unwillingness to let go of my errors.
Sorry, John.
Yeah.
My
Internet is dodgy. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So sorry. That's why I've had my camera off for a while, hoping that would improve things. But I've dropped off about 4 or 5 times now.
Just,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to go into the meditation just now and just wrap it up. So just read this one: by recognizing my errors as distractions from the truth.
By recognizing my errors as distractions from the truth or abundance, I will free myself from the belief that I am anything other than oneself. In recognition of this truth, I affirm that I am limitless in power and peace, secure in joy, and part of the unified extension of pure formless awareness or abundance. My goal is to bring this awareness of oneness or abundance to all minds and allow pure formless awareness or abundance to shine through me.
Yeah. I will accept my role in awakening.
I will accept my role in awakening the world today by extending innocence and happiness and offering of the truth of our perfect oneness or abundance to every person I encounter or even think of today.
Yeah. So what's he saying there in summary?
Recognize that these are just errors, they're distractions. I can free myself of them, I can let them go. Recognize that I'm one and I can bring this oneness to others. Sorry, sorry, Johnny, keep scrolling. So
Well,
I'm not, yeah. Just bring it to all my, yeah, just extend this oneness and abundance through to others. And I accept my role in as this is part of the awakening.
mm-hmm. Kind of has to. I mean, the nature of abundance is it's expansive, it's extensive. It's always expanding and extending, isn't it?
Mm.
Can't be limited or scarce, and so it's going to help you to connect with people in quite a unique way. Which then, the more you do that, the more you see them as part of the oneness, the more you see yourself as that. The more you acknowledge the true self in others, the more you acknowledge it in your own self, your own mind. That's how it works. Okay, so then just the key message, Archie, if you can read that.
I am one self united with my source, the extension of perfect love. By letting go of my false self-concept and practicing consistent mind training, I will awaken to the truth that I am one with my that I am one with my source.
Sorry, I keep changing it.
Sorry, it keeps moving, and then I
Yeah,
lose my place.
yeah.
I will awaken to the truth or abundance that I am one with my source or abundance, as is everyone and everything else. Extend the innocence and peace of this self and fulfill my role in bringing the pure formless awareness of oneness or abundance to every mind.
Yeah. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I think, again, acknowledging I am oneself and that everything is about letting go of my false self-concept and just practicing consistent mind training. So, yeah.
That's what it comes down to. It's letting go of a false self-concept. That's what everything boils down to. That's
Yeah.
forgiveness. So it's
Yeah.
the letting go. When you change your perception, you have to change your self-concept at the same time.
Yeah.
You get that? And that's what radical forgiveness does for you. It's the only way to really change your self-concept. You start changing your perception of situations. The self that is now perceiving is changing.
Mm.
That self-concept is what's perceiving. And so you've either got the separate self, the ego, or you've got the Christ or the true self that's able to perceive from a different perspective. The true self perceives from the perspective of oneness. The separate self perceives from the perspective of separation, the belief in separation. And so they perceive very differently because those ideas are very different. And they create a different, very, very different seeming reality. He's just saying, well, just recognize that all of it is about the self-concept. That's what it all boils down to.
Yeah.
So that's such a simple message, right? In every situation, you only have one problem, and there's only one solution. You have a false self-concept that is causing your problem, and the solution is to let go of that false self-concept.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of discipline to recognize how simple that solution is. Because we tend to get distracted, and the problem seems to be big and very problematic and very complex, and there's lots of different factors, and there's other people involved, and you don't have a handle on it, and you can't control it, and it just gets overwhelming. We all know we've been there, right? God, I can't deal with it. But actually, when you strip away all that complexity, the problem is very, very simple. You believe you're a separate self. The consequence of that belief is this problem that you've now created. Through that belief, the answer to the problem, the solution, is to let go of the problem at its root, which is the self-concept that created it. You do that by changing your perception of the situation, because that automatically changes the self-concept that's behind the perception. You see how it works? Genius. And it's so simple. Psychologically, this cuts through layers of complexity. There's so much complexity in psychology, psychotherapy. So you get lost in all that. It just cuts all that, cuts through, and just goes, there's just one thing that's really going on here. And if you can get to the very core of it, the radical root, right? That's why it's called radical forgiveness. The root of it, you undo it at its root, and all the symptoms of it are gone. Any gardener knows you don't get rid of weeds by just chopping them off at the top. You have to uproot them and take them out the soil so they cannot grow again. And that's what you're doing with the mind training. You're plucking out all of the weeds of the separate self thought system as they show up in your perception on a daily basis. You're plucking them out and you're saying, no, this is not true. So it has no foundation in my mind. Taking it out, just removing it. And that is what's going to clean your mind. If you make those thoughts real, say, okay, well, yes, I accept that some of those thoughts are true. I accept I've just got to work with that, and I've got to overcome the obstacle. The problem is you make those thoughts true in your mind, the more you believe them. So if you come up with a plan based on a false belief, you are reinforcing the false belief with the plan. You understand?
Yeah.
And this is what the world does. Look at all the plans of the world, all the systems of the ego. It's making a plan to correct an error that is false, that comes out of a false thought system. It's called magic. And when you correct the error on that level, it's not really corrected.
Yeah.
The error maintains because the separate self-concept maintains itself. It is not undone by magic. In fact, it's reinforced by magic. Only your true self and the remembrance of it, being the Holy Spirit, remembrance of perfect love or abundance, can help you to recognize the truth and let go of these illusions in your mind. And that's the way out. And there's only one way out. There's only through this kind of forgiveness or letting go can you do it. Now, you might do that by meditating every day. You might do that by practicing the course lesson. You might just do it spontaneously and be quite good naturally at letting go. Some people are. However you do it, you've got to do it. That's really what the course is saying. Okay, so really, really simple message, but at the same time, he's challenging us. He's saying, okay, are you willing to up your game and learn this? And he's given us a lot of guidance in this lesson on how we should actually practice, why we should practice that way. Okay, so any questions, comments on any of this? Otherwise, shall we finish off with a meditation?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So go into the med, shall we? Just going to close that. Okay, so just getting yourself ready, sitting comfortably. Oops. Sitting comfortably with your feet shoulder width apart, your back straight. Just cup your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And start off by taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. Just breathing in, noticing how the stomach rises and chest rises. Subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Pause at the top of the inhale. So maximal inhale breath. Put one hand in your heart, just connecting with your heart space. Scan your mind for any problems, any difficulties, any problems, anything arising. And in counter to that, just say, you're breathing again, I am one self, united with my source or abundance, and one with every aspect of extension and limitless in power and peace. And then just close your eyes, they're not closed. Tell yourself again, slowly and thoughtfully, attempting to allow the meaning of the words to sink into your mind. Just try to connect with the meaning of the words as you sink into your mind. Say, I am one self. I am one self. Breathe into that. And so any false ideas, To repeat this a few times, just say to yourself in your mind, or you can say it aloud if you want, I am one self. You are one self. Say to yourself as an affirmation as you breathe in again. I am one self, united and secure in pure formless awareness or abundance. I am perfect love's extension, one self, with one source. I am one self. Say that over and over to yourself. United and secure in pure formless awareness or abundance and joy and peace. I am perfect love's extension. Feel the oneness, not just of your mind, but of all minds, so that true being may extend wholeness and the unity of perfect love or abundance. And so be aware of any thoughts that are not abundant. I am one self, complete, healed, and whole, with power to lift the veil of negative darkness. I am one self, complete and healed and whole, with power to lift the veil of negative awareness from the world. Allow the pure formless awareness of perfect love or abundance in me to come through. Come through you to teach the world the truth. To teach the world about the truth, about myself. Feel this one self in me, united with my source and its awareness of abundance. I feel this one self in me and let it shine away all my illusions and doubts. I'm one self, say yourself as you breathe in perfect harmony with all there is and all there ever will be. I'm one self, a pure extension, perfect love or abundance. united with everyone in that self, united with my source in its awareness or abundance. I feel this one self in me and let it shine away all my illusions and doubts. Say, this is my true self, extension of perfect love or abundance, innocent as its source, which is abundance itself. Love, strength within me and forever mine. I am one self. I can feel the self within me cast all my illusions out of the one awareness that is the self, the whole truth or abundance in me. To feel this truth in you. Breathe it into every pore, every cell, every muscle of your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being. So be vigilant today, says Yeshua. Just determine not to forget. Everyone needs your help. So you must play your I will not forget this today, say this. Everyone needs my help, so I must play my little part in bringing happiness to all the world. So be vigilant today, so I'll be vigilant. I will not forget. I share its surety, for it is mine. I will be vigilant. I will not forget my goal. I will repeat today's idea as frequently as possible and understand each time I do so. Someone hears the voice of hope. So every time you do this, someone hears the voice of hope, the stirring of the truth from their mind, and the gentle rustling of the wings of peace. So if someone comes to mind who you're having difficulties with on any level, just remind yourself, bring them to mind. So say to this person, you are one self with me, united with me and our source for abundance in this self. Breathe in and just feel this. Feel the source for abundance. Say, I honor you because of what I am and what my source for abundance is. I honor you because of what I am, what my source or abundance is. It loves us both as one. So breathe in on the truth of that. Feel that oneness in your heart. And then as you exhale, So get a sense of this connection to your source, abundance itself. So to feel the connection, the love. So just sinking inwards, going deeper and deeper with each breath to the still, calm, peaceful, quiet state. Feel this abundance in your heart, in your mind, and extending to just feel this connection, this inner abundance. Breathe into it. Nice deep breath in, and then just hold the breath briefly. There's nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. So in the sun, in the silence, in this abundance, is the very essence. Nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, nothing else to think about. Just breathe. And out through your nose, relax, be still, and sink inwards. Repeat today's idea to yourself. So I'm one self, united with my source for abundance, and one with every aspect of creation or extension, and limitless in power and peace. Now I'm one self. Just feel into those words. What does it feel like to be one self? United with your source and spirit. One self. Just let those three words be a catalyst for a deep inner inquiry. Go into your mind, into your heart. Notice what's going on in there. Just feel it. You just connect in with this one self. Notice what it feels like. And deeper with every breath, and just feel go deeper into the self for a few minutes. Just explore it experientially. Allow your mind to go into it. And just explore the depth. Surprising depth that can come. Say, I am one self. That's sort of my source of abundance. When thoughts come in, seemingly damage this beautiful state of mind. Long time sink in and just say, I'm one self. United with my source or abundance, one with every aspect to extension and limitless in power and peace. Breathe this power and peace, this abundance into every pore, every cell, every muscle, your body, every part of your mind, every fiber of your being is in the light of this abundance. And rest in this for a few minutes of deep silence. So just gently coming back now, this deep state of awareness and reverence for this one self. On the count of 3, you're going to open your eyes. So 1, just breathing in, noticing how stomach rises, the chest rises, subtle flow of air in through the nostrils. Just noticing your thoughts, emotions, related body sensations. There's a subtle flow of air in through the nose. And noticing all these things from the perspective of your one self. Say, I am one self, united with my source or abundance, one with every aspect of extension and limitless and power and peace. On the count of 2, just exhale. Exhale, and the truth of this, exhaling out any darkness, any negativity, letting it go. The illusion it really is. Gone. Pull the lower stomach into the spine. Pull the last remaining air out and just rest. Empty state for a few moments. On the count of 2, notice the weight of your body pressing down into the chair, your feet touching the ground. Notice what you're feeling and touching. Your hands. In a very calm, detached way. Going on in your world and your sense perceptions. If anything untoward, anything negative, any negative thought comes in, just say, I'm one self, united with my source or abundance. At one with every aspect of extension, limitless in power and peace. So it is. So be it. Now on the count of 3, just open your eyes. Take a minute just to look around and ground yourself back into this seeming reality. Just noticing everything from this very clear, calm perspective of the one self, your source, your abundance. Oneself is just a proxy for source or abundance itself in this world. Connect with that, acknowledge it, embrace it, and practice it again this evening if you need to, before bed. think about it again, even if it's just for a minute or so. Connect with the essence of abundance that this idea is supposed to connect you with. By saying I'm one self, and then just sitting in this abundance, staying in this abundance, staying in this awareness. So it is said and so it is done. And that brings us to the end of meditation and of tonight's session. So thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, Jono.
No problem.
Good night. Good night, Archie.
Yeah. Archie, you there? I think maybe Archie's, you're muted. So yeah, Archie, shall we leave tomorrow and let's do a session maybe Monday? Should we do that? Oh, you're muted. Okay.
Right.
Don't know what's going.
Good night.
All right, Kim. Namaste.
All right.
Thanks for joining.
Namaste. Thanks. Okay.
All right.
That's it. Thanks.
Speak
Bye.
soon. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right, Archie, I'm going to have and leave you. So go well, and I'll see you next week. Maybe Monday or Tuesday. Let me know what works for you. Thanks for joining, and yeah, namaste.